Good morning. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope everyone had good holidays. Had a good New Year's. Hope everyone stayed safe, had a good time, spent some time with friends and family. Apologize for the late start. Gotta love the tech difficulties, guys. And it's like I'm not even using complicated stuff. I've got a basic laptop, and yeah, and that's it. And we're using we're using Google Meet and StreamYard. Should be pretty straightforward, but it's not. So, what do we got today? Wake up and dial. It's Monday. It's right after the holidays. Um, Guys, we're gonna get right into it. The most important thing, I cannot stress this enough. So, when looking at, man, how do like these people like how does it work for them? They're killing it, they're doing deals, they're getting contracts, they're making money. And it's like, man, I'm struggling. I don't know. It's tough to make the calls, or like keep getting no's, or I don't know. I'm not getting contracts, but this other person, they seem to, I don't know, they're killing it. One of the biggest things, and New Year's, another big one is January 1st, everyone signs up for like the new gym memberships and everything, and I'm all for it, right? However, the number one difference, if we're talking about gym, and same thing for business and wholesaling, the difference between the person that's going to be absolutely shredded and kill it at the gym, and they're going to, when summer rolls around, they're going to have that six pack or that bikini body, whatever it is. The difference between the person who makes it and the person that doesn't is one person woke up on like December 28th and was like, I need to get in shape. And they went out that day and got a gym, or maybe the gyms were closed and they were like, look, I'm gonna walk around on my neighborhood, and I'm gonna, do some push-ups and some pull-ups and like try to do something. Right. And they're just like gonna get started right now. The other person is gonna, they say, well, I'll tell you, well, it's Saturday's New Year's Eve, and then what I'll do is, January 1st, well, I'm gonna be hungover and tired that day, so that's like my rest day. Oh, and then Monday, everyone's still off, on holiday, everyone still has Monday off, so that's like still part of the vacation. So, and then Tuesday, well, Tuesday's like the first day back to work, and it's just going to be a lot going on and catching up. So that's just going to be a little hectic. So Wednesday's going to be my start date, and that's when I'm going to get into shape and start making calls and doing all this stuff. Guys, Alex Ramosi does an amazing job, kind of giving an analogy for this. When you're able to make it work and make it happen, when the conditions aren't perfect, that's when you're going to be successful, right? If you need to wait until you have perfect conditions in order to start taking action, like you're done for, because inevitably, no matter what it is, whether it's wholesaling, fitness, whatever, like there are going to be things that pop up, like you're going to have tech issues. Maybe you're doing cold call, like your dialer's acting up and not working, or I've got a 10-month-old, and sometimes things pop up where it's like, oh, I got to take care of him, or this or that, or like, oh my gosh, he just spit up everywhere, whatever the case may be. And and it's like, oh, I'm super behind schedule. Guys, if you learn how to do it when when the conditions around you aren't perfect, that's the best way to do it. Because when the conditions do get better, then you're like, oh, this is nothing, right? And you also prove to yourself that, like, no matter what, you can make it happen. All right, off my soapbox. Let's make some calls, guys. Let's talk with some sellers today. Let's see if some people will pick up the phone. All right, let me log into so I use smartphone. I don't know if anyone here has used it before. Of course I got to log in. So guys, what are we going to do when we call people? First thing, set expectations. There's one thing you take from today: set expectations. right? Set expectations when you're talking to your husband, your wife, your kids, family, friends, coworkers, whatever. Set expectations. What does that look like? There's only 3 pieces to it. Super simple. Got time frame, agenda, outcome. Right? When we set expectations, time frame. How long are we going to be talking? Right? And it doesn't you don't this isn't, oh, we're going to be talking for like 4 minutes and 37 seconds. No, like just give a, hey, do you have just a real quick 2 minutes? What's the agenda? Hey, I just wanted to figure out what are we doing for dinner tonight? Outcome. Do you wanna, cook at home or get Chipotle or whatever the case, right? Time frame, agenda, outcome. And what does that do? Why is that so important? Because when we hop on the phone, sorry guys, I'm looking for my password to log into smartphone. When we when we um when we set expectations, when we first talk to someone, they have this resistance. They have this their guard up. They're like, whoa, like who is this person? What do they want? How long are they gonna, have me on the phone for? How long is this person gonna be talking to me for? What is this even about? Like, I don't know. Naturally, we're afraid of the unknown. Leave now, stay in call. What is this? Told you guys, tech stuff. Um Setting expectations. Where was I? Oh, resistance. Yes. So what we do is when we set the expectations in the beginning, it lets the person we're talking with, they feel more comfortable. It's they're able to, lower that resistance, and we want them to open up and feel comfortable with us on the call. Guys, sales is not about pressuring. It's not about pushing people and pressuring and making them uncomfortable and like, just like really low balling them and all this. No, no, wrong way. Don't do it that way. Don't listen to anyone that tells you to do it that way. Passwords. There we go. Smartphone. Man, took me a hot minute. Oh my gosh, of course. Of course. I don't have the password in here. That's cool. We're just gonna call from my cell phone. I normally never do that. I'm not a fan, but that's okay. Hopefully someone doesn't get upset and then put my number on a list or something. Who are we gonna call today? I'm looking at a list. I'm trying to call people Eastern Standard Time. Not trying to call anybody at like 6 or 7 a.m. Some people may do that, to each their own. I personally, I don't like to call anyone before 8 a.m. Usually like 8:30, 9 o'clock is like the earliest I'll start. Some people like to start as early as 8. Some people do 7:30. To each their own. Most important thing is I'd rather you call people too early than not call at all. You're like, Nate, I've only got between 7 and 8 o'clock in the morning. What do I do? Do I make calls or not? You make the calls. But Nate, like they're going to be really upset. Aren't I interrupting people in the morning? Yes. But the person you're looking for, that motivated seller with a really distressed household and distressed situation, you're their savior. Like they are waiting for your call. They need you. So they're not going to be upset when you call them in the morning. And if they are, well, that's okay. Because at the end of it, when you do the deal with them, they'll be happy that you called. All right. All right. All right. These are all Utah. That's Florida. I called that one. Come on. Who we got? We got Colorado. It's a little too far. Time zones Georgia and Georgia. Georgia's Eastern. We're good. Okay. Let's go. Let's call some people in Georgia. I know nothing about Georgia. What do we got? Okay. So here we got a Thomas Wright. All right. So we've got 3-bed, 2-bath. Now, oh God, that lead is from a year ago. What am I doing? Okay. There we go. Okay. A lead that's not from a year ago, from like a week ago. This is much better. Okay. Mary Brown. Mary Brown. She's got 2 bed, 1 bath. Allegedly has no need for any upgrades. Let's see what she's got going on. 5337. And let me, guys, I recommend whatever scripts you use, have them in front of you. I reference them all the time. You should also spend a couple minutes going through them beforehand. You don't want your first call to be like the very first time you're even like thinking through and like going through the words of your script. All right, let's call Mary. All right, no answer. So what do? We call again.
Please call again. Thank you for your call. Memory full.
I don't know if you guys heard it. That was the weirdest thing. It like beeped it beeped, and then you would normally give a voicemail, but it beeped like 4 times, and then said memory full. So I don't know if that's like that person's using like a Nokia flip phone. I'm not sure. Okay. So Mary's not around. Who else? Dude, ideas first thing in the morning. All right. Who else we got? We got Florida, Arizona, Utah. Georgia. We got another Georgia. All right. Let's call this person. 3 bed, 2 bath. Needs to be painted and the carpet. Okay. If they're saying it needs paint and carpet, it means it's probably a full gut. Full gut job needed. Kind of a joke, but probably some truth to that. All right, 4-3, 4-3, 4-6. All right. Come on, Donna.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
We're gonna call Donna again. Come on, Donna. Donna, talk to me. I'm lonely. Lonely this morning. Because we all need a friend to give cash offers to. Man, no Donna. No Donna today. Let's try some of these other ones. Let's try Ohio. Ohio, that's Eastern, right? I'm in Connecticut, guys, in case anyone's wondering. Danbury, Connecticut, Eastern time zone. Originally from upstate New York. Anyone ever been to the Catskills? Not a whole lot going on other than some mountains. It's nice there, though. All right. We got some 3-2. 2, 6, 1, 6, 6. We got Troy. Troy is saying that allegedly it's in good condition, replaced everything. 5 bed, 2.5 bed, and it's been vacant for 2 years. Okay. Yeah, walk me through that, Troy.
You have reached the non-working number. Announcement 14. Switch to 2.
All right. I had a message saying it was a non-working number. All right, Troy, you dodged me this time. Well, now that we've called 3 people, none of them picked up. Now's a great time to mention holidays. So Monday, a lot of people still have off today, apparently. Holidays are great to call because despite what's going on today, usually everyone's off, so they pick up their phones. And yeah, I highly recommend and in general, like when you're calling people, especially if you're cold calling, if you kind of flip flop your schedule, right? Like if you're calling when everyone else typically isn't working, just like a general rule of thumb, you'll the likelihood of you getting more contacts, reaching a lot of people, getting good conversation, like that's gonna go way up. You're gonna connect with like if you're calling from in the hours of like 4 to 7 p.m. If you're cold calling, you're gonna talk to way more people than if you're calling at like 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Not that you shouldn't call in the morning. I used to call in the mornings all the time, but it's great to do evenings too and days off, or just times when most people are off. All right. I'm not gonna do Washington. Because what they're 3 hours behind, 2 hours behind, something like that. All right, let's call Georgia again. We got a lot of Georgias in here. Atlanta, Georgia. We got Gregory. Now, guys, another thing is I'm calling. These are cold call leads. These are generated by Wazoo. Link is somewhere down below or in the description. We use them. They've been working great for us. They what was I going to say? When you're calling your leads, so when you're talking to the only thing in this kind of conversation that's going to slightly change is the opening. You'll tell when someone picks up the phone and I speak with them. It's like very specific to someone that is a cold call lead. Someone that they got a call from like a cold caller or VA or something, and the lead was generated, and now I am looking to speak with them, for the first time. Very different from how I would open versus if it was like an inbound call from like direct mail, or if I was calling like a pay-per-click lead, or something like that. Not a big deal. Like it's very easy to kind of make the slight adjust. It's literally like the first 2 sentences would be the only changes you would make. All right, Greg, pick up the phone for me, brother. We got 917. We got Felicia trying to join. Hello, hello. Good morning. How do I make myself full screen? That's not what I wanted. All right, there we go. Okay. 371-8775. Felicia, good morning. Happy Monday. Calling some sellers. We're calling Greg in Georgia, Atlanta. He is a cold call lead. Let's see if he Good morning.
Stephen Phillips, thank you for calling. To disconnect, press 1 if you still want to leave it.
All right, that's definitely wrong number. How was your New Year's, Felicia? Yeah, we're excited to have you. So, yeah, this morning, what I'm doing is hopping on. You're gonna get to hear me call some sellers. No one's been picking up their phone, unfortunately, not yet, anyways. Yeah, what we do is so I do this every Monday and Wednesday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time. But it's more than just me calling, talking to sellers. So I actually, like the past few weeks, I didn't call any sellers, and I was really just walking through you guys through the sales process, what that looks like, kind of the basic frame outline of the script, and a lot of going into a lot of detail on that sort of stuff. And the nice thing is when you join, we are live, but if you join, any questions that you have, it's catered 100% to you. So if there is, I don't know, Felicia, if you have any questions off the top of your head or anything you needed help with, or even if you had leads, you're like, hey, Nate, can you call my leads? Or whatever the case may be, I'm here for you. Are you brand new? Have you, just brand new? Okay, cool. But it sounds like you've kind of been doing wholesaling for a little bit, or uh-huh. Oh, okay. Got it. And how's that been going? Well, we're gonna turn that around. Let me ask you, Felicia, for generating your leads, who do you know what you're looking to do yet? Like, do you want a cold call or text, or like, are you gonna be talking with agents or buyers, or if you have no idea, I know I'm jumping at you with a ton of questions. Yeah, yeah, whatever you want to call it. It could be your avatars, however, whatever you're looking to try out. Yes, I love it. There you go. So what you've it sounds like you've gotten a couple. Hey, David, good to see you. Good morning. Happy to have you with us. Um, Felicia, so you've gotten some contracts in. Well, it sounded like you weren't able to find a buyer for them. Uh, got it. Yeah, that's always disappointing when that happens. Well, I'll tell you what, Felicia, let's call some more sellers and hopefully I can help you out with that conversation where you're negotiating with the seller. And there's also ways we can find out if somebody does have like a brother or family member. I use the term deal killers. Um, I got that from John Martinez. Deal killers, which are kind of these other people in the background, to where it's they might not be the named owner of the property, or maybe they are. It could be a spouse, husband, wife, whatever. But someone else that has an influence on the decision making, right? And there's ways that we can kind of bring that up, before we get to the contract part, so that those things don't happen. And if there is someone else, how do we bring that up? How do we address that person? And how do we move forward from there? So those are all fun things we can talk about, and let's see if we can get someone on the phone today, and maybe we'll get to see it firsthand. Let's try. Going to be calling Ted here. Let's see, 480 074 All right, so he's got. So what I'm looking here, I've got like a separate computer screen. This is my laptop that you guys are able to view me from, and I've just got, this is just a spreadsheet with cold call leads that we get from Wazoo that they produce for us. We work with them; they've been working good. So this lead, it notes here, 3-bed, 1-bath, good conditions, no major repairs. So he says, okay, let's call him up and see. Are you guys able to hear the ringing? Okay, cool.
Hi, sorry, I missed your call. Could you leave me your name and
All right, so we're gonna call him back. Come on, Ted.
Hi, sorry, I missed your call. Could you leave me your name and number? I'll get back to you. Thank you.
At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, Ted, it's Nathan. Give me a call back when you get a chance. Talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye. All right, if we leave a voicemail, that's kind of how we want to do it. We want, don't be like, hey, this is Nathan. Just calling about your house on Dayton Farmsville Road. Just wanted to see if you'd, consider a cash offer on it. Give me a call back. But we don't want to do that. We want the goal of leaving a voicemail is to get a response. So we're looking, like, we just want him to reach back, especially if it's an already generated lead. But even if you're like cold calling or whatever the case may be, you want to get them on the phone. So what do? Sound upbeat, energetic. I sound like a friend that like knows the guy, right? I'm super vague. Oh, hey, give me a call back. So he's like, what on earth? Like, who is it? Like, do I know him? What is this about? And hopefully he'll give us a call back at some point. All right. Let's see who is next on our list. Mary Brown, I already called you and you didn't answer. Donna, we called you too. Let's see what time is it. It's 9:41. We can call. We can call Central Time. We can call Central Time. Oh wait, no, God. Utah's Mountain. I keep forgetting. Colorado's not going to work. Washington's definitely too early. Some of these guys are old. David, how you doing? Holidays, New Year's, everything went good? Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Kind of same with me, right? Just got to get caught back up to speed, back into routine of things. Let's call. We got Shara Rose here in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. 770-374. Felicia, are there any specific parts of the conversation when you're talking with the seller? Are there any specific parts that you know you're looking for? Hey, can you help me with this? Or like, I struggle with this part. Or man, this kind of always seems to go bad when I say this. Is there anything in particular that you're looking to work on or improve on? Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's the number one thing. I always tell people, and that's great. And that's so funny that you say you're really comfortable with calling and you're comfortable with talking to sellers, and then you say it's feels really good to help people. Because when what I've found is the people that are uncomfortable with making the calls or reaching out, it's because there's that disconnect where they have a hard time seeing the value that they're giving, and it's the people that are like, ah, and they yell at you, whatever. It's just that's just not the right person. Like, that's just not the person you're able to help, not right now anyways. You've got to sort through those people to find the person that like you're going to be the savior to, more or less. I always explain to people, like, there is somebody in your list who is like staying up late at night, who is like crying in a corner, because they don't know what to do with the situation that they have. And like, you need to put in the work to be able to find and reach out and connect with that person so that you can help them. And Felicia, I could tell, like, you've got that outlook, when you're talking to people. And I think that's amazing. That's such a big part. All right. How about you, David? Anything in particular that you're looking for today? Anything specific you could use some help with? Mhm. I've been there. It's happened to me a ton of times. What are you in a specific market? Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Yeah. That So I've got no problem with like people being virtual. I was 100% virtual. All the deals I was doing was in West Michigan, and like, I don't know, I'd maybe contract like 50 deals before I'd ever even visited Michigan. um Now, granted, yeah, a number of those fall out, and it's one of those things, when you do pick a new market, it's okay if it's virtual, but I do strongly recommend, like, whether it's virtual or local, doesn't matter, but just like have, hey, this is my market, and I will like get to know my market. And that's kind of what we talked about with the painless wholesaling method is, learn what the buyers in your market, whether it's virtual or not, learn what is a good deal to them, right? Because they are like, that is our client. That's our end buyer. Like, I don't care how good of a deal it is. I got this. Like, it's for free. Like, you don't have to. All you have to pay is my assignment fee, and you can do it in payments over like 50 years. It's if you don't have someone to buy it, we can't get a deal done. And the markets. A deal to someone in DFW is totally different from a deal for someone in like, Muskegon, Michigan. Muskegon, Michigan, like, Dallas is great because it's a really hot market. You've got really strong buyers. So typically if you get a property under contract, the chances of you being able to sell it are a lot better. Or you'll learn like, oh, there was something I missed. A lot of times that happens on the rehab. I don't know if you're like me. I don't really know much when it comes to swinging a hammer or like rehab or this or that. If you do, it's super useful. But the one thing is yeah, it's just getting to learn what is a deal for the buyers in whatever market I'm working in. Now with getting things under contract, now what we kind of preach, start with get some buyers, know what they're looking for, and then you can kind of go from there, so you at least have someone. But that doesn't mean you can never contract a property like until you already have an end buyer. Like, for example, I was helping Henry, one of the students. He had like a really hot lead, and he's like, hey, can you help me contract this? He's like, I'm not sure if it's a deal or not. And it's in Mississippi. Never been to Mississippi. The other thing that doesn't help me is it's a non-disclosure state. So like, it's really hard for me to kind of find any data because I don't have MLS data. So, and it's a really nice house. They're motivated. The house really needs like no work. And I had an agent tell me, he's like, yeah, I think conservatively, he's like, I think this could sell for 370. He's like, we're listed. Originally, when Henry kind of gave me the lead, he's like, yeah, they want 300 for the house. They won't take anything less than 300. I spoke to the seller, and he's like, yeah, we would be willing to sell it for 275. So there's like $100,000 gap. However, when like you can have properties where you're like, this looks like it should be a home run deal. But even agents get things wrong. Like, the agent was telling me he thinks conservatively it could sell for 370. He's not a flipper himself, but he's working with a flipper right in that neighborhood. And he's like, yeah, after we fully rehab this house, it's a full gut job, so everything's going to be brand new. He's like, we're going to list it for 320. Well, that's a bit, and it's a similar property too. The one I'm talking, the seller I was talking to, it's definitely a little bit nicer, but not 50 grand nicer. And the fact that he would be listing the other flip, at 320, that's huge. The other thing is, it's the biggest and the nicest house in the neighborhood. We don't typically, as a flipper, you don't like that. Because then you're the one sort of leading the way of like, hey, what's the price point for this neighborhood? It's hard to use a price per square foot method or anything like that. So you have to be a little bit more conservative. So how did I navigate that conversation? Well, 275 sound like a great number, but I didn't feel confident that if we were to contract that we'd be able to sell that deal. So what do? But the seller really, really liked me. He's like, dude, he's like, we've talked to a lot of people. We've got a lot of offers. He's like, I really like you. He's like, I really want us to sell the house through you. And so what do? Now it's also his ex-wife. They got divorced. His ex-wife is living in the house still. I told him, I was like, look, Anthony, I'll be honest with you. I was like, I'm really nervous with this house, and here's why. And I explained to him, and I'm like, hey, this one, they're going to be listing for 320, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, look, I'll be honest, I really think listing the property would be the better fit for you guys. Now the other thing is, I also spoke to the other agent, was like, hey, if this isn't a good fit for me, if I hand it off to you for a listing, like, can we get a referral fee? And 100%. And so, like, a referral fee typically, you want to ask for about 30%, and his fee would have been like 20 grand if you were to sell it, around that 350, 370. So, which isn't ideal, right? That's not what you want, but it's, like, that's still an avenue, like, on how to monetize, on make money, with every single person that you talk to, and be able to, like, genuinely help them with the best thing for them. Now, so I pushed him towards, like, hey man, I think you should list it. I think you should list it. I could tell he really didn't want to list it. So what I said was, I was like, well, here's the other option. I was like, I don't think this would be a good fit for us. We haven't seen the inside of the property yet, and so on and so forth. But what I can do, I was like, we do, we work with, we network with a whole ton of different investors. A lot of times, something that might not be a good fit for me can be a really good fit for someone else, because they either have guys in that neighborhood, they just finished one, so on and so forth. I was like, it's not a guarantee, but typically the way it would work is, we would go into a purchase agreement, and it'd be like, a 10-day inspection, something short. And just during that time period, I would reach out to my guys and see if it's a good fit for them. If it's not a good fit, hey, it's only 10 days, no harm, no time's lost. And if it is a good fit, great, we can just move forward with that same agreement and, close in 30 days. And he's like, wow, he's like, I really like that. That sounds great, blah, blah, blah. Now, another example of one that we contracted where we weren't sure it was a deal. It was a mobile home in Tucson, Arizona. It's like a vacant mobile home that needs to be totally rehabbed. And the seller's like, yeah, like, if you guys can buy it, cool. If not, it's not a big deal. So, like, take these things into consideration when we're talking with people, right? Like, for Anthony's situation, his ex, like someone's living there. If we go into a contract, like, she's got to pack up, she's got to find a place to go. Like, there's a lot, like, we're having a massive impact on someone's life. So you want to make sure that you either, like, are very clear with, and just very transparent of, like, hey, here's what we can do for you, or here's what we can't do, or here's what I'm nervous about. Or, with the other scenario, it's vacant mobile home. The guy's like, yeah, like, if you're able to buy it, cool. If not, no big deal. He's like, take a look at it, right? That really makes no impact. It's not a loss to him one way or the other. Not saying, that means lie or be dishonest or anything like that, but that gives you more leadway to, like, okay, well, I feel more comfortable at least trying. If I think, and again, I'm not saying lock up properties at prices that would never work. You still, if you're, like, on the fence of, like, I think this might be a deal, but I'm not, like, super, super confident. If it's like a vacant, the vacant mobile home situation, yeah, move forward with it and see what you can do. Because reality is, like, you want to see if you can help this guy out, because his only option is to sell to a cash buyer anyways. So I'm kind of the best fit for him, to figure out, one way or the other, and then for Anthony, the people in Mississippi, for them, I was able to say, hey, here's your options. I actually, I think this one would be better for you, but here's something that I can do. And then let them tell you what they want to do. Right. And then I also tell them, I was like, hey, but just know, for Anthony, the person still living in the home, hey, and this is for anyone where, like, it's a big impact. I strongly, like, recommend that when you set the expectations with them, let them know, like, hey, just to be safe, like, just make, like, don't pack anything just yet, wait until we get the inspection done and it's fully approved. I don't think anything will go wrong, based on everything you told me, it should be a fit, no problem. But just to be safe, like, don't go spending money and all that stuff yet, just Just let us make sure we can get through the inspection period, and then we'll be green light, good to go. Right. And then that's how you're able to help people. And if for whatever reason, because the reality is like, inspection periods are really important. Like sometimes there are things that the sellers didn't tell you, or there are things that you didn't know about, or whatever the case may be, things happen. Or we might have missed something. And, there are going to be times where you're not able to close on every single contract. So we just want to make sure that we kind of structure that conversation and set the expectations in a way to where, even if it does fall through, like it's not going to devastate someone's life and leave them kind of, not knowing what to do or in a tough situation. That was a really long rant. I don't know if that helps at all, David. I, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you've heard me say it before, but I so strongly believe I think the biggest lie in real estate told is if you find a good enough deal, the money will find. No, no, it won't. There is a graveyard filled with contracts and good deals that people couldn't find a buyer for. It doesn't mean it wasn't a good deal. It just, you know, good deal is it's relative terms, right? For example, like in Michigan, it's like properties I'd get under contract. It's the buyers we were talking to and reaching out to in Michigan. It's like they're like, nah, man, like no, that's not a deal for me. Somebody that wants to invest long distance from California, oh my gosh, they'd be like, this is crazy. Like you're actually selling it to us at like these prices with these returns and so on and so forth. So, but that doesn't help you out when you're on a short time frame. And it's like, no, I need to find the right person for this property right now. All right, let's try calling one more person, and then okay, this guy, Wendell Higgs. Needs repairs, new roof, vacant, 3 months. Oh, this is an old lead, but that's okay. We'll call anyways. Let's call Wendell. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, Wendell.
Yeah.
Hey, Wendell. It's Nathan.
How you doing, Nathan?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How's it going?
It's going pretty good.
Man, I was calling because you had spoke with one of my assistants a little while ago. Man, it might even been like a few months ago at this point. But you had spoke with one of my assistants about the property on Laurelwood Drive.
Laurelwood Drive.
Yeah, in Atlanta.
That was a while. Doesn't have that Laurelwood Drive in it.
Got it. So yeah, I think it like I said, it might have been a while ago. I was actually just reaching out to see if you had a minute to chat about it, but it sounds like I caught you in the middle of something.
No, you talking about the call for one, I don't know you don't. And two, I'm trying to figure out where Laurelwood Drive is.
It's so the address I have here, I don't know. Tell me if it's the wrong one. It's 1761 Laurelwood Drive in Atlanta, Georgia. Yep. And then it's spelled here as one word, Laurelwood. I'm guessing it sounds like you you don't have a house on Laurelwood Drive. Was it a different one that and maybe he just put in the wrong address? Yeah, yeah. So you had spoke with my assistant. Like I said, I know it was a little while ago, but it sounded like it was something that had maybe been vacant for a few months and something you were looking to sell. What are they like rentals for you, or are you just moving around? Oh, there you go. Oh, okay, man. So I guess he really kind of like I said, I had a note here to give you a call, and I knew it had been a little while, but yeah, I guess it must have been. Oh man, a year. So I'm definitely a day late and a dollar short. Well, Wendell, I'll tell you what, I really, man, I guess I gotta talk to my guy about about that. Well, I'll tell you, Lendl, Wendell, I don't suppose you have any new ones right now that you're looking to sell. Hmm. Not usually, but sometimes. I mean, we tend to network with a lot of builders, so I don't know if I mean I probably wouldn't be the right fit for you. Is it something that you own? Like, have you thought about maybe just kind of listing it and sort of going that route? Okay. Got so the lender still owns the other one, and then the other lot you own. Got it. And where are they in Atlanta? 3432. Okay. And are you able to give me kind of a rough? Are they like acre, half acre, buildable? What are we looking at? Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna put that. What? I'm sorry. Say it again. What was it? 77. What? 70. Let's see. All right. Bringing it up here. Okay. I brought it up on Zillow real quick. So got it. Okay. Yep. Yeah. It looks like it needed to get torn down. Okay. Got it. Yeah. Now, do you know how big the lot is off the top of your head? Okay.
A 2,200 square foot. When I do 2,500 square foot house in that area, I'd probably keep it somewhere between 18 and 22, 2,300.
Okay. Got it. Um. Okay. And for this property, if you were to sell it, do you have an idea as to what price you think you'd want to get for it?
Well, we're 78,000.
Okay. Now, have you tried kind of listing it? And because I mean, it sounds like you could probably get that if you were to list it. No. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? Got it. So you guys are looking to get 77 for it. Not interested in listing it. I'll be honest. Hold on, let me see real quick. Let me see. So you're telling me the houses in that area are selling for 350 and up. Okay. I'm just taking a real quick look at the neighborhood. Okay, I see what you're saying. Be honest, I don't know if it'd go for that right now. I know, yeah, 350 would definitely be on the high end. But just kind of the market way everything's trending. I know. I'll be honest. I really don't think I'd be the right buyer for you, Wendell. Yeah. I mean, look, my number one goal is I don't want to insult you with a low offer. Right? I know it's not something you need to sell. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think I'd be able to. Man, but Wendell, I've been told that before, but then they hear my offer, and then it's that story totally changes. Well, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. You kind of share the same outlook as I do, so I appreciate that. I hear you. I hear you. Well, I know. Yeah. I mean, just being completely frank, like I said, I really don't think I'd be the right buyer for you. Just because like we're not the end builder either. So if we were to buy it, and I'll be honest, I don't know if it'd sell for 77. Not saying it wouldn't. I know we wouldn't be able to pay that. For us, we'd probably, I mean, in a perfect world, we'd probably want to be somewhere between like 15 and 25,000. I know, I know. I told you it was gonna. I gotcha. Well, Wendell, I'll tell you what. If hey, for whatever reason, if circumstances ever change or whatever the case may be, hey, please feel free to reach out anytime. And look, even if you're looking to sell it to someone else, or if there's anything I can do to help you out, please feel free to reach out anytime. Always that happy to help in any way that I can. All right, Wendell. Well, I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Take care. Bye bye. All right, we got one. So, couple things about that call. So it was on totally different property. So what I was doing on kind of my computer screen here was I real quick was bringing up the address on Zillow, real quick throwing it into PropStream. So there are houses listed for 350 and 380. But then they're in that same neighborhood. There's also a lot of houses listed for like 180, 200. The other thing was it's showing here that he bought the property for $5,000. So that's kind of where I got my low anchor from. That's why I went that low. The most important thing with that conversation, why didn't I take longer? Why didn't I shortcut a lot of things. I didn't go into like deal killers. I didn't go deep into motivation. I mean, right off the bat, I'll ask both of you. Did he sound like he was a motivated seller? You can shake your head no. You can type no in the chat. Either one, right? He not motivated. The number one thing is don't waste time with like if they're not a motivated seller, like that's fine, right? Like just and now granted, the other thing I did was I still made sure because they can be a non-motive. My very first deal was with a guy that wasn't really a motivated seller. He was like, yeah, I'd sell it, for this price. And it just so happened that price was able to work. So that's why I still ask, hey, if you were to sell it, like what kind of price, what do you think you'd want for it? And I still throw out like a rough, number of like, hey, well, like I maybe need to be around here. Right. And the reason we do that is just so I can quickly get off the phone with him, but also you're not wasting an opportunity because there's a lot of times where like you'll get a response where guys will be like, can you write it up today and close in 2 weeks? And you're like, oh my gosh, like he really just said yes to that. Like I was not expecting that. Right. Those moments will happen. Right. And if I were to just get off the phone with him in the beginning and we didn't even like quickly go over numbers, I would have lost that opportunity. Right. And you're going to lose those people that could be deals. The other big thing that I like to do is I like telling them, hey, I really don't want to insult you with a low offer. What does that do? When you frame it that way, I am setting the expectation of one, I'm telling him, hey, I don't want to give you my number. So one, if he wants to hear my number, he has to ask me for it. So he's the one asking me, no, tell me your number. Two, I'm setting the expectation in his head of like, so he's already thinking like, oh man, this is going to be a really low number. And so he can't get mad at me when I tell him my number, right? Which is kind of exactly how that went. Sometimes you're still going to get people that are going to be upset. And then you just kind of laugh it off, kind of like how I did, like, oh, hey, I told you. And the other thing is a lot of times when you do that low number, they'll be like, oh man, like, no, wow, 15 to 25, like, no way. No, I wouldn't sell it for anything less than 50. And then you're like, wait, that's like 27 grand less than what he said his asking price was, right? And there's a huge drop, and then you find out what the real number is. That's why I really like low anchors also. But low anchors when done properly, because if you do it wrong, they will get upset. And, you just kind of ruin that whole rapport that you have with him. The thing was I was able to kind of give a really low offer, and I still have report. Like I could call this guy in 2 weeks and we would still be cool. And, we could revisit the conversation and it'd be fine. Now granted, he was a pretty laid back guy. But if I came in, I was just like, yeah, no, I don't know. Properties in here, they're selling around this, like, the lot, right? And I just like pick apart the lot and this and that. And I'm like, yeah, I could maybe give you 10 grand for it. He's going to get annoyed. Like he's like, no, get off the phone with me. And the other thing, the other reason why it kind of so much quicker is it's a lot. So one, he's a flipper. I don't think he does fix and flips though. I don't know. It looks like he just buys and kind of relists. But one, he's a flipper, and two, it's a lot. When you're talking with people about land, like if it's just like a lot, it's usually a pretty straightforward conversation. If you try to get really deep into motivation on something like a lot of times it'll sort of push people away. So don't force, if the conversation is just, for him, the conversation just naturally went the way that it did. So like if I had like a word for word script in front of me and I tried to go through it and I'm like, oh, so, catch me up to speed, what's got you looking to sell this property? And he's be like, I bought it and I'm looking to sell it to make money. Like, okay, well, what's got you looking to sell it now? And like, got it. And like, if I try asking all these motivation questions, he's just gonna be like, dude, it's a lot. Do you want to buy it or do you not want to buy it? That's just when you talk to people about land, that's the practical, that's a conversation you're going to have. Which is nice when talking with people about lots, is because you're able to get to that offer, you're able to get to that number, and it either works or it doesn't work. And you're able to skip kind of like that 30-minute 30 minutes of going into motivation and deal killers and other people and so on and so forth. What else? Any questions on that call? Any from Felicia, David, anything about that call, how it went? Any questions at all? Yeah, I love ending every single conversation with kind of that exact phrase that I left him with. And which is just, hey, Mr. Seller, hey, Wendell, look, I'll tell you what, if for whatever reason, if circumstances ever change, and if you're looking to sell the house, whether it's to me or anyone else, please, if I can help you out in any way, even if you're looking to sell to someone else, please feel free to reach out anytime. What that does is I'm offering free will. So I got to put this book here so I can show it to you guys, because I reference to it a lot. The book called Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. If you guys haven't read it, go read it. Anybody that's watching this that hasn't read it, like, buy it today, go read it. Even if you don't do sale, like, it's like a must for any business. But what you're doing is when I'm doing that, like, I'm offering free will. I'm like, hey, look, I'm here to help you out. And you'll hear like a change in tone for a lot of times when you talk to, like, when you're talking to a seller of a home, even if it's like, oh, this isn't even close to a deal and the conversation went kind of rough and they're kind of agitated. A lot of times when you end on that note, you'll hear change like, oh, wow, like, well, thank you. I really appreciate that. And then that's how the conversation ends. And it leaves it open for when you follow up with them, if it's 3 months or 6 months later, if it's someone where it was like a hard no and they're like a long-term follow-up, you left on really good terms, right? And the reality is if they're selling the property to someone else, no, they're not going to call you anyways, right? And if they do, well, just do the right thing and help them out. So yeah, I love to end every conversation that way. And it really builds like massive rapport in like 2 sentences. So highly recommend that. Cool. Well, if that is it, David, did you have any questions or anything at all? Yeah, and that's kind of what I teach, and when you understand the principles, it's because conversations, it's hard if you have if I know a lot of people preach like using like a word for word script, and I think those are good for when first getting started, just to kind of understand the flow. But like when you talk to people, we're all kind of unique human beings, and every conversation is different. Like you can have a process, and that's what I preach is kind of using a process like the one that I have, but it's a process that has flexibility to where you're not this robot. It's like you're genuinely just having a conversation. You're able to kind of flow and just freely chat with the person that you're speaking with, and able to do it in kind of like a genuine kind of free flowing way that's also navigating towards where we're trying to get to, is like, are we going to be able to do a deal or not? Neither one's okay. So that's great. Well, cool, guys. Thanks for hopping on. Everyone else watching. I will be live Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. Hope to see you guys if you could make it. If not, that is okay. Otherwise, and again, if you have any questions on anything at all, any leads you want help with, hey, Nate, can you call this person? Or, hey, I'm having trouble with this kind of objection. How do you handle that? Hey, I'm doing texting or direct mail, blah, blah, blah. Like, how do I talk to these leads? Anything at all that I can help you guys with, please let me know. Happy to help in any way I can. All right, guys. Well, until next time, have an awesome week. Go kill it on the phones with sellers, and I will see you guys soon. Bye, guys.